Hi guys, so how's it going? I know that this year has really been hard, but you know that there's a blessing in everything that we do. And this year I have been blessed with some wonderful books that really changed my mindset. This year I told myself I was going to read a book a week, but I could not do it because life got in the way. I instead was able to do a book a month, which I'm going to make 2 books a month in the coming year if God permits. And I'm going to definitely bring you along through book reviews. But in the meantime, here are 7 best books I read this year, and I hope that they serve as inspiration if you are looking for any book to read this year. So the first book we are going to look at is a book called A Limitless Life by Nikki Vujicic. I initially was skeptical about reading this book because I had issues going on and I was wondering if this book would be worth the time. But my oh my, that book was fire. It's basically about living a ridiculously good life in the midst of trials. It talks about next daily struggles, having to live without limbs, gives hope, and really ignited my desire to see every situation as an opportunity to shine and be a miracle to others. Particular moment in the book that struck a chord in my heart is a quote from chapter 1 that says that often our challenges in life are what shows us who we really are, and frustration is a sign that our lives need more than we currently have. This book really drives home the point that you do not need to put your life on hold because you are faced with an unfair situation. Instead, look for ways to pass by and move forward because everything happens for a reason. And no matter how grave the disabilities we have, we are blessed with enough abilities to overcome them. My take home from this book is that if Nick, who was born without limbs, can become an inspiration and hope for others, despite the loneliness and rejections he faced growing up, then what can't I do? You and I have no excuse to give up on our life when things become tough, because for all you know, that moment of setback can become a miracle for others if you persist and shine. The next book you're looking at is called Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. This book basically talks about how our inner desire to be relevant and accorded some form of respect can subtly override the fact that we were once amateurs who do not have all the answers. The core message of this book is humility and how being a lifelong learner at what we do can help us fight against pride and become even better at what we do. And if you are a big fan of the Move in Silence thing, then this book is really for you because even though it does not specifically talk about moving in silence, it sheds light on how being a continuous learner and focusing internally on the process and not overly projecting your goals and ambitions to the outside world can help you become a very successful person. So there's a quote in this book by Lao Tzu that states that those who know do not talk, and those who talk do not know. And the writer links it to the story of a guy called Upton Sinclair who wanted to become governor of California. So this guy, even before the people had a chance to vote, wrote a book entitled I, Governor of California, and How I Ended Poverty. And in this book, he outlined all the policies that he enacted as governor while in an office that he has not even won yet. At the end of the day, his book was a bestseller, but the campaign failed, obviously because his stock got ahead of him and his will to bridge that gap collapsed. So Ryan emphasizes how we are constantly in temptation to overly share our lives to the outside world and even hype our thoughts and process and whatever we're trying to do with stories and photos on Instagram, Twitter, and whatever social media we can lay our hands on. And unconsciously filling others in with our goals and ambition, faking it to make it, of course, and to get a subtle feeling of importance which can really turn into pride if it's not regulated. In a nutshell, our number one enemy is not the outside world, it's not the people that are around us, it's ourselves, it's our ego, which seeks to get above others, which seeks to be recognized and give a certain treatment. Instead of being humble, working on your process, being low-key, and achieving the dreams that you want to. Next book you're looking at is called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. So this book talks about fear and how it hinders us from achieving the goals that we dream of. Now here is how it works. Each of us, no matter how successful we become, have some kind of fear and reluctance towards doing new things or tackling problems when we encounter them. But the truth about fear is that it will never go away till we get out and do it. But here's the problem. Once we overcome the fear of doing something and we move on to the next stage, we will still face fear. But once you keep in mind your goal and the direction in which you're going, it will help to scare fear away and make decisions that will direct you in the right path. If I learned anything at all from this book, it is that I need to take responsibility of my life, get out of my comfort zone, and do the things that scare me. Because once I'm making progress, I realize that no mountain at all, no fear can hinder me from achieving any kind of goal that I set out my mind to achieve. Next book you're looking at is called Living Paycheck to Paycheck by Jim Donovan. And this book is about money. It will expose you to money. It will expose you to how money works and what you should do in case you are lagging behind in trying to achieve your money goals this coming year. So some things I learned from the book is that whatever amount of money we have right now, it's a choice. and that our past money mistakes do not matter, but what we are able to do when we realize that we are not at the place that we want to be, the choice we make going forward, realizing that we make bad financial mistakes, that is what really matters. Something interesting I discovered from this book is that we inherit money beliefs, and I was really surprised because it says that the people with whom we stay influence the way we think about money. If your parents or guardians were generous, you become generous in a way, and if your parents or guardians were also reckless with money, there's a high probability that you are going to become careless with money as well. So write down all your own money beliefs. What do you believe about money? What do you think money should be used for? How do you think money should be operated? Another thing that Jim advises in this book is that you should make more money. So he said that the average American billionaire has more than one source of income. So if you want to become a millionaire or something, you just want to be well off financially, there's no way you're going to sit down and say your job doesn't pay, continue to stay there, and then you're going to make more money. Instead, try to find another way aside your job to make money so that you are able to cushion yourself up to the place that you want to be. So the next book you're looking at is The Almighty Richest Man in Babylon. A friend gave me this book this year, and guys, I don't know, I've been hearing about it, but I never took time to read it. But immediately I opened the book and I started reading, I became glued. And one main thing I learned from this book is that everything you want starts with a desire. So this book was about two friends who realized that despite their hard work, working all day, they still do not have enough to meet their needs. So they went to one of the nobles in the town that they considered rich, asked him to share with them his secret to becoming rich, despite the fact that he stayed in the same country with them. And so this man took them through their entire story, his entire journey, and how he was able to become as rich as he is now. And some of the key takeaways I took from it is that, number one, always have a financial plan as to how you should spend your money. Number two is to always pay yourself first, and that is having a percentage of the money that you earn sit down in a savings account which you can invest no matter what it is. Always try to put that money aside before spending the rest. And then the next one is to pay your debtors, tackling the debts that have high interest first, and then you can go to the low ones, and then you can even become debt free if you try to follow that path. And now, my ladies, I suggest every woman read this book, no matter how old you are, because it will open your mind to certain things that you never thought could make you poor. And the book is called The Smart Money Woman by Arisi Oguwa. I hope I'm pronouncing it very well. But this book was a book that got adapted into a Nigerian series aired on Netflix. And the book is about this four lady friends who like to go out, chill, shop, spend, and feel comfortable until sudden misfortunes in their life caused them to start talking about money, and then their lives eventually turned around. Here are some of my takeaways from the book. The first one is define what's important to you. What are the things that you want to spend on? Don't let other people pressure you into spending in ways that will get into trouble. The second takeaway from this book is to keep your circle tight. Because the larger your circle, the probability that people are going to pressure you into spending in ways that you do not then fit. If the people in your circle do not add any value to you in any way, you don't have to keep them. Just let them go, because some people can help you open your eyes to the things that you do not see, which are good for you, and others can also lead you into trouble, especially financially. And now let's talk about joint accounts. So there's this couple among the friends who had a joint account. And can you imagine, the lady was having a joint account with his husband, an account to which the two of them are not signatories. One person can go and empty the account, and that was what the husband did. The husband cheated on her, emptied the account, and eloped with the girlfriend. At the end of the day, she was left in debt, but their sudden realization of financial literacy helped them all to go into a pedestal that they could call themselves worthy. And that's the kind of woman that we should aspire to be. And now let's come to my fiction of the year. I read only 2 physical books this year, and this one, this book is one of my favorite. Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. I hope you already know this book. Guys, I love the book so much. When I picked it, I could not even put it down. It portrayed the tradition, the unity, and sense of community that existed within a small African community before colonization. And I really loved how the story started, how it was going. So I came to the tragic ending that really broke my heart. So Okonkwo, who was the main character in this book, was a man of war. He was highly successful and was really devoted to the community, even though he was very young. But sadly enough, one thing led to the other, and he had to go into exile. By the time he came back, he realized that his community had been influenced by Christianity and things didn't go the way he wanted. So he committed suicide, which was really a tragic ending for me. Can you imagine? When I realized that Christianity was introduced in this book, I got sad. I was like, oh, I was liking the vibe. I was liking the vibe in the book. So why? What happened? But I think that instead of ending things when our lives become difficult, we should get adapted to change. That things do not go our way does not mean that life cannot go on. Get adapted to change. Find out how can I make my life better instead of killing yourself. This is definitely going to be a series I'm going to come in with this year with a lot of book reviews. And so I hope this book review was useful. Let me know which one of the books is your best book. And in the meantime, watch this video where I share with you 10 things to say yes to this year for a better life. Thank you for watching and till I see you next time.